Today on Metal and Mortgages, we discuss
Godsmack canceling their tour,
YouTube burnout,
Cern Shrinking the Earth,
Roseanne versus the Connors.
So, unfortunately, Godsmack had to cancel their tour. They just played here recently, and apparently it's all over for a little while at least due to...
Yeah, they said until 2019, I think, they're going to take some time off.
The guitarist's son,
I think his name's Tony,
passed away at 34 years old, and he's obviously a huge fan, and obviously, you know, their biggest fan. Kind of lived through his father.
Means his dad. They came out, what, 98, something like that? 98 is kind of when
I want to say 99.
Was it 99? So his son was like right around like 14, 15 then.
Yeah, man.
Wow. I wish my dad would have hit something like that.
You know, and I hate to start the show on a sad note, but hey, that's life, you know, and
it sucks, man. Second I saw that, I was concerned. I just thought about, you know, what if my kid passed before me, man?
I have a friend of mine that he lost his stepson at 15 due to cancer, and you know, that's just one of those things where I don't know how you losing a child, and even though, you know, yeah, that guy was 34, it's still his little boy at the end of the day, and I don't know how you muscle past that. That's got to be the hardest thing I can imagine, and I commend my friend. You know, he was strong through it, and all. It was basically his son.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. That's one part of life I'll never really understand. Is losing a child. Like what's the purpose there?
You know, something tells me I'm going to say this a lot during this episode because of some of the material we're going to discuss. But I mean, you know, got to count your blessings, man. Yeah. You know, when you see that happen, when I saw the news last night myself regarding that with Tony's son dying, and at that age too, and I almost grabbed my phone and called my daughter, but then I realized I just talked to her, so it wasn't so bad. But it really did. You know, I've got a 22-year-old daughter, and I'm working on my third grandchild, so I don't know if he had any grandkids.
I don't know. They didn't say.
I think his name's Tony, the guy, guitarist for.
But yeah, when you have a child yourself, and you hear about a loss like that, it does hit home. It makes you appreciate the time we have. And,
I mean, even in your kids in utter disappointment like mine.
And I don't know. You know, they haven't released as to what happened, and obviously that's way too young of an age.
34. I mean,
but no matter what, I don't care. You know what it was. I mean, you know, that's just the toughest thing in life, I'd imagine, is losing a kid. So anyway, heart goes out to him and the band for sure.
Of course.
Also, lost Ole. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Ole Herbert today. Yes. 48 years old, guitarist for All That Remains.
Oh, wow.
And also, you know, we don't have any details, but I think that just happened today. So.
Wow. Were they weren't on tour or anything, were they? That you know of?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, those guys are all that. I loved their first couple of albums. I used to sort of make fun of them. My daughter was younger then; she was 10, like 8 to 10 years old, and I used to be like, all right, what do you want to bet this next song is going to be screaming with a beautifully sung chorus and then back to screaming? And she'd be like, okay. And we bet like $1. And it'd be just that, and I'd take my $1, and then my daughter, well, the next song they're going to sing really pretty for the verses, and then they're going to scream the chorus and then sing more pretty. I'm like, okay. Sure enough, like that was their pattern. You know?
Hey, that contrast is good, man.
I liked it back then.
Also, on a lighter note, Slipknot has said that their new album will be out next year, 2019. For you Slipknot fans.
I think we talked about that like 3 episodes ago.
Yeah. Well, they didn't say when. You know,
well, they said 2019, and now it was going to be like Iowa.
And so I don't know. I don't know. Usually, is that a normal thing now, or is this like a new thing where bands are they just come out and say when their record's gonna be released? Like, it didn't seem like you got a lot of that back.
Tool
in the
doesn't
day.
do that, do they? I've heard so many rumors in the last 5 years regarding Tool's new album. It's coming out next year, man.
Yeah,
it's gonna have 13-minute songs.
You know, why you have to have a security clearance to find out any Tool information is beyond me. But I will say that having mystery surrounding that band has really worked for them. You know, not having them visually in their videos. Maynard not being front and center on the stage, being kind of back behind the drums in a shadowy figure. It's kind of worked for them, having some mystery there. So I guess they're just trying to have more of that. It's worked so far, so why change the formula, you know?
I almost bought a shirt that said Tool. Not the band. I'm just a tool. But then I said, nah, I can't wear that to the grocery store.
So you texted me last night, and I thought you were joking. You sent me a blank text, and it said, YouTube is down worldwide. And then I pulled up YouTube, and it loaded, but I didn't click a video, and I thought, haha, very funny.
And then I was like, I typed in touche because I said, yeah, try opening up a video. Because that was the thing. You could sometimes, if you reloaded, you could get the videos to show, and you think, oh, okay, let's back up. But if you tapped on a video, it'd be like, sorry,
right,
nothing.
Yeah, so I did that, and I was like, wow, he's right. Like,
so then you sent me the face, and I was like, that was the O face, the oh, and I was like, I typed in touche, even with the little, squiggly over the, the little tilde or whatever it is over there.
Yeah.
And it changed it to douche. So I was like, my bad. And then I noticed it like an hour later. Well, what about these other YouTube artists, or I don't know if you call them podcasters or what, but they come out saying that they have YouTube burnout. Now I've noticed it's other ones. There's multiple of them over the last year or so that I've seen make a video. I think I got YouTube burnout, guys. I'm gonna have to take a break from YouTube. Let me tell you what. If all I had to do was this twice a day, even, I'm sure I get tired of it. Tired of talking to your ass, just like you get tired of talking to my ass. But at the same time, if you saw my knees right now,
they look pretty rough.
They're rough because I have to crawl around and do hard labor all day. And I don't have to, but that's what my business is. So that's what I've chosen for myself. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not bitching about it. It's how I pay for all this crap you see in the background. But at the same time, YouTube burnout should not be a thing. Those guys complaining about YouTube burnout need to go and work on a construction crew for about 2 days. They'll come begging to put that microphone back in their face.
Yeah, it's kind of like these Hollywood movie stars. They complain about paparazzi or all the attention. It's like, man, you make like $20 million a movie. You live a lifestyle only some can dream of. I think this is what you signed up for. If people weren't taking your picture, you'd be out of a job. If people didn't care what you were doing. So
when the paparazzi go away, it's time to start worrying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So be glad, be thankful that people give a crap about what you're up to, snapping your photo.
Yeah. I don't know. So I just kind of thought that was a bunch of boo-hoo baby bullshit.
I wish I could go to the grocery store without being, man, shut up. I'll take that $55 million and not ever go to the grocery store again. No problem. Speaking of celebrities.
Now what'd Kanye do?
Oh, no. I was talking about Roseanne there. She did a stand-up thing, though. She signed off on her show so that her other co-workers, co-actors could continue on, because they had purchased things and made plans thinking that this thing would go on for seasons. And
don't spend the money till you got it and you got it in your bank account or in your pocket.
But if acting's your profession, that's kind of it's kind of what you bank on. It's kind of getting, anywhere. Or if you get
I'm an
hired
actor
at a
right
new
now.
job.
I'm acting like I know what I'm talking about, and I'm acting like I actually want to sit next to your ass. I'm
Right.
just playing, sweetheart.
No, but anyway, so they called it the Connors, right? Because of her tweet. This is all because she was on Ambien.
It actually aired last night, which for us was Tuesday, based on when this episode comes out, and it was the premiere episode. Now, I did not watch the show, partially because it wasn't a protest thing. It was more of a fact of, without Roseanne, I don't think they have a show, and I'm not gonna sit around and watch it. I did catch on the news. It was ABC, oddly enough, that I watch in the morning. Occasionally turn my TV on in the morning when I have time. And ABC was like, yeah, the Connors aired last night, blah blah blah, and nobody cared. But I did see where they played a clip where Jackie, I guess that's her sister, Jackie on the show, was announcing to, I guess, others on the show that Roseanne had died due to an overdose of opioids.
What?
And that's kind of rough, I mean, if they weren't aware of her past, mental issues that she's had. I mean, this woman got hit by a car when she was 15 years old, had the hood ornament impale her head, and then the car basically ran her the rest of the way over and caused her to have skin grafts and all kinds of crap, and then put her into a mental institution for 9 months after that. If that's not enough.
Well, just in light of the fact that she lost her job and obviously her license for the show, signed that off for them so that everybody could keep working, due to the fact that it was over a tweet when she was on Ambien and probably some alcohols, I think is what she said. And then you decide to fictionally kill her off on the show, saying
on
that
drugs.
it's on drugs. Like, why couldn't they just have a heart attack situation?
Well, it'd be like, if John Goodman had done the exact same thing. What would they make him die of? Overeating because he's, overweight?
Yeah, that's.
I mean, that's just cold. It's cold now. Now ABC has come out.
Tasteful.
I didn't look at the exact timestamp on this. It was probably pre Connor's episode airing last night, but I did read a news story where ABC various executives did say that they regret firing Roseanne and not actually letting her just go ahead and do what she offered, which was to go on ABC's different talk shows and explain herself. What she said was, it only went to 600,000 people prior to, which is her followers. And nobody knew about it other than them until the news media got a hold of it and went apeshit with it. And then her own co-star Sarah Gilbert had basically threw her under the bus too with a tweet before she even had a chance to talk to anybody else on the show via telephone. Because I mean, I'm sorry, but me and you go way back, kind of like they do, and if I said something nuts online that damages this show, say this show was actually big, would you not call me on the phone and be like, dude, what the hell are you thinking? Before you got online and you roasted me in a tweet?
Yeah, well, I would.
Right. Well, that's just what, and it ain't no bro code. That's just what you do to a friend.
Mm-hmm. If I was some type of a public figure like that and I had all these things on the line, I would not control my own social media. That's what
before.
You're supposed to have publicists
PR
handle
persons, yes.
handle your social media and all this, because then you don't get into these conundrums. So I think that was her first misstep.
Yeah, right. Because if, say, I hired you to be my PR person and I was doing Ambien and drinking, and you're like, hey, so-and-so said that your new album sucks. And I'd be like, tell them they can suck all of right out of my... You'd be like, he respectfully declines to...
Exactly.
You would just change what I said into something actually acceptable.
Typically, they have these people on payroll. And so... why they
she
choose
doesn't.
to.
She's about as normal normal. She's never lived in mansions behind gated gates,
and this is
gated community type things.
And this is why to me, this doesn't make sense, because if you look at the whole premise of the show, that it's blue collar family. If you look at back in the day when Roseanne first came out and she got so famous, she went and sang the national anthem and spit on the field, and that caused controversy. Look, she's always had this kind of on the edge personality. So why is everybody so shocked? It's just kind of it's what makes her who she is, sort of, you know.
Oh, I mean, she had a gastric bypass, like back when they first came out, which is irreversible, and it prevents you from being able to absorb certain, nutrients from your food too. So she has to do, I forget what they call it, where they, like, every 3 months she goes in and gets like an IV drip kind of thing, where they kind of infuse, nutrients that, like B vitamins and things like that she's not able to get out of food. And lack of B vitamins will make you have irrational things too. So pile that on with Ambien and drinking wine, and I think she said she had 2 beers, something like that. So, she was at her mom's and she was hanging out in the basement when all this kind of went down, which is nuts. I mean, her mom lives in Utah. She's from Utah. But it was very, very interesting. I have nothing but respect for the woman. She's 66 years old. And I'm sorry. You have to understand, if you're going, before you criticize anybody, be it like a public figure or like a famous person, or just me and this guy, you have to know where we come from first. Me and my wife, we have disagreements sometimes, and she will sometimes kind of quickly roll into an assumption about me, and I have to look at where she's been, because I met her when she was 45 years old, and she had lived 45 years of life before we ever even met each other. So I have to look at what she's been through based on what she's told me about her past, and use that to kind of deduct, okay, well, this is why she's acting like that, because she's been through this. And so you can't judge somebody without knowing all that first. And then if you use that logic, you tend not to throw as many rocks,
So CERN, which is the Hadron Collider, it's in a different country. It's this giant, kind of like just a giant circle tube underground where they slam particles together. It's where they found what they call the God particle.
Well, now they have a statue out in front of CERN that is like the goddess of destruction or something like that.
Yeah, that's creepy. There's a lot of
it was something like that.
There's a lot of creepy things.
That bothers me when they're trying to create black holes, and that could technically swallow the Earth.
Well, Martin Rees, a astrophysicist from Britain, has came out and said that it is not beyond the realm of possibilities that if something goes wrong at CERN, that we could shrink the Earth to the size of a few football fields. Because when they're slamming these particles together, they are pretty much reenacting what happens in the universe, kind of when black holes are created. It's possible, and there's pictures out there of weird storms and cloud anomalies that happen over the top of CERN that looked kind of suspicious.
That's interesting.
America was supposed to have this, and they had the funding at one point, and then the funding got pulled, and instead it ends up over in another country, and I think it might even be shared by a few countries on the line.
Yeah, I know they're on the border of
border,
country, but I thought it was like Switzerland or Holland or something, one of those kind of quiet, neutral type countries.
But a few years back, they found what's called, I believe, the Higgs boson, which they call it the God particle, which they weren't even sure if it existed, but they actually observed that. And, there's a lot of theories out there. There's something called the Mandela effect, where people remember, like the old book, the Berenstein Bears, and now it's like the Berenstein Bears, or vice versa. In the Star Wars movie, people remember him saying, "Luke, I am your father," and then there's another way now that it's saying,
"Father, I'm your Luke,"
or something to that effect. Forrest Gump movie where he says life is like a box of chocolates. Now it's life was like a box of chocolates. I don't know, and I don't know.
Yoda, chocolates, life was like.
Right, exactly, and you know, I'm probably not getting these terms right, these phrases, but anyway, they claim that it's possible that CERN may have already shifted us into some other dimension and we didn't even notice it. Some other timeline where things are just slightly different and we don't even notice it. Because, you know, technically there could be another universe, conspiracy theory, there could be another universe where you exist, but just one thing is different. Or you have one testicle.
I'm waiting for the other one to drop, dog.
Right.
Then my voice is going to be like this.
But so anyway, you know, it's a real possibility, but it's really scary. I don't know that it's fine to study these things and whatever, but I don't know that we should be trying to recreate the birth of black holes and different things like that, if that's actually what's going on.
Screw it. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I don't care.
We might implode and just shrink down to nothing.
Cool. At least, I guess, and you know I always seem to have this, I don't care, blow up the earth tomorrow, who cares? And it's not because I don't have anything to enjoy in my life. I do. I have things to look forward to. I think I just want it to end because somebody else screwed up and not because I screwed up. You know,
right?
Like I don't want to die because of my own ignorance.
The,
I didn't quit smoking, or I ate too many hot dogs, or I wasn't looking when I was driving. I don't want to die because of my own ignorance. I want to die because somebody else screwed up.
The question I would like to ask Mr. Martin Reese, the guy that says we could shrink to the size of a few football fields, and maybe some of you viewers could comment below and tell us what you think. But if the Earth shrank down to that size, would human beings shrink with it, or would we stay the same size and then run out of room?
My junk would be huge,
or would we
massive,
or would we all shrink relatively, you know, to everything else, due to the fact that, you know, we're in the problem area, that if CERN has an accident.
Honey, I shrunk the planet.
Exactly.
But
how about
Rick
that?
Moranis.
How about that? What if we, how many people are there? Like 4 billion, 6 billion, 7
Almost
billion?
7 billion, right at 7 billion.
Now, what if we all stayed the same size and all of a sudden, boom, we're all sitting on a field? Like, what would happen? We'd just be piled up on top of each other.
There's going to be no more personal hey, man, you're in my personal space.
Yeah, ooh, that's scary.
And we're going to smell a lot of other people's farts. It's going to suck. Come on, man. Really? Damn, dude, the earth ain't that big. Come on. But we will find out if the earth is flat, though.
Yeah.
You know, people start falling off the edge.
So, one more week till Halloween, right? We got one more episode here.
Roughly 10 days, not 12 days.
It Chapter 2 trailer has released, and I don't know why. Maybe the more notable actors were waiting to see what It 1 would do.
Did they find some better talent?
Bill Hader from SNL,
Oh.
and some other people in there. The guy from Insidious, and The Conjuring and all. He's in a lot of horror movies. But did you see It a few years ago, the remake?
No, I saw the original long back. What was it, 90?
This one's good, man.
I don't even remember.
Pennywise is looking
how long it
extra creepy. Like he blows away the old guy.
I watched. I got the 40th anniversary version of the 4K Halloween original, because I haven't seen that movie in forever. And you know, you and I talked about going this Friday.
Yeah,
to go see is it a remake of it? A total remake?
It picks up where part 1 left off, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Where the 1978 original left off.
So I kind of thought I'd revisit the original. And
so did you check that out?
Yeah. You pointing out some things about the movie kind of like messed with me a little bit, but it caused me to not get the full effect of the movie because I'm over here looking at the grass. Oh yeah, the grass is green as hell. Oh, the trees are green as hell too.
That's right.
Those leaves, they look thrown right there. I mean, a couple of them got wet. I don't know if they took like gallons of water and just dumped it out to make the curbs look wet. But anyway, I was just looking at things as like, and I got to check out some of the extras on the DVD, and they actually showed like that. Was set in Haddonfield, Illinois, and but it was actually shot in like Burbank or something like that, like little back streets, nice, homes. In the movie, the two homes that are across from each other, one of them, the girl's babysitting in one, and then the other one, her buddies are over there partying or having sex or whatever that's happens to be where Michael's at. Those homes are not actually like across from each other, like in real life.
Oh yeah,
which is it's interesting. It's just it's cool. It's well done.
But yeah, so did knowing that Michael Myers was Captain Kirk, did that mess with you at all?
I looked at the mat. No, didn't affect me at all.
That's good.
I had other questions, that I think I sort of like Rob Zombie's take on like focusing on Michael as a kid and a little bit more. I like his take on it better.
Did the bonus scenes on your Blu-ray, did it have any extra scenes where like they zoomed in on Michael at the asylum or showed Loomis having extra conversations in like a conference room or theater?
There were two scenes with Loomis. One, he talked to Michael. Michael was catatonic, looking out of a window in a chair, and he's basically like, "Look, you may have fooled them, but you ain't fooled me." And then there was another scene where he was in this big, looked like a classroom, like a college classroom.
Yep. Now those were
in I think a TV edit.
Right, when they aired it for TV, like after the movie, after it had already left the theaters, they added those scenes in.
And they cut the boobies out.
Oh, okay, yeah, makes sense. So I was going down the YouTube rabbit hole last night, and came across this video of this is a guy reviewing a flashlight. Okay,
a flashlight.
He's just reviewing a flashlight.
Flashlight. Flashlight. My bad. What? That'd be an interesting review to watch. More interesting than one you're talking about.
Okay, so he's reviewing he's reviewing a flashlight.
Flashlight.
And and he's just showing the different modes and the brightnesses and all this and what he would recommend. But he decides to do this. And by the way, this guy has balls of steel.
Hence the flashlight.
To do this, because he goes out on a dark, windy, stormy night and he goes to this abandoned mine shaft where they used to
test a flashlight?
Yeah. To dig for gold, like by himself, where they used to dig for gold. It's like a 150-year-old mine. And in the middle of the night, creepy, there's bats in there.
I thought those would be like boarded up, closed off.
And so this is in no way intended to be a paranormal video.
Right. Okay.
And so it just happened to be that while he's in there, this audio anomaly towards the end of the video at about the 12-minute mark, he hears something and he's like, "Is that wind?" And then he goes down. He had turned around to go back out, and he went in a long way to the very end where it dead ended. And as he's leaving, he hears back where he came from at the end of the cave this weird sound, and he said, "Is that wind?" And he starts running back towards the dead end of the cave.
He went towards the anomaly.
And what's interesting to me is you hear the anomaly getting louder as he's going back to it. So it's actually it actually has a physical area wherever it's occurring. When he gets to it and he stops, when he stops walking, it gets to where you can hear it, because obviously he's hitting rocks with his feet and all. And anyway, when he stops, he realizes it's not wind, and he's like, "What is this?" And you know how when something freaky is happening to you, you try to talk yourself out of it. You try to go, "Oh, well, that's got to be this, it's got to be that," and he's clearly doing that. He's like, "Is that birds or snakes? Snakes? Are you serious?" Anyway, man, I want you to hear this, and right now we'll cut the audio and we'll add we'll throw up the video here so the viewers can see it.
So I can take my pants back off.
But check this out real quick.
You can see right here where some of these boards are bending. Do you hear that? Sounds like what is that, wind? I don't know if you can hear that on the camera. Do you hear that? It stopped. Well, I don't know what that is. That doesn't sound like wind, but that's crazy. Don't know if that's a bird or I don't know what that is. It almost sounds like snakes, but wow. I've heard some weird stuff in mines, but that is definitely creepy. I don't know what that is. So let's get out of here and head back out to the portal. That was weird. I don't hear it. Wow, that was strange. All right, so, Jesus. That's the wall deck mine, main haulage tunnel, and this is the Through Night TN12 flashlight review and demonstration, so highly recommended. The only one thing I could think of would be that it might need a diffuser tip, because see how it makes a white spot? It kind of washes everything out, so, well, I think I keep hearing something. That was strange.
Now, so that's why I say he has balls of steel, because, you know, he just heard basically
Very snug sphincter.
Yeah, basically, and you can tell us in the comments what you think below of what you heard, but basically it sounds like a bunch of demons, like
Sounds like
yelling
sounds
a bunch
like
of stuff.
like multiple. That's why I said kind of a cult down there, and you can hear them.
Yeah, and this guy's got balls of steel because he's like, is it snakes? I don't know what that is. I've never heard that in a mine before, and obviously he does a lot of you know, investigating mines, I guess, or doing reviews on flashlights, and you know, and then at the end there, he's like, well, anyway, this is the review of this flashlight. Now, I'd recommend a diffuser tip, but you can check it out in the link in the description.
Yeah, they could put one of those, you know, A19 tungsten, you know, carbide caps on it.
Like, dude, you got demons screaming at you, and you talking about
this I'm just down here in a mine, 3 miles into a mine that if there were some kind of even a bear or something, he'd be toast. Hopefully he's like packing.
Yeah, I really commend that guy, because to keep your composure. If I got to tell you, most people, including myself, you know, if I was down there by myself, dark, stormy night,
see ya, I'm out of here. I couldn't run fast enough.
I mean, you'd probably hurt yourself.
I would probably crack my head open trying to get out.
But the reason I think that's interesting is because obviously, again, he's just doing a flashlight review. You know, this guy has nothing to do with paranormal activity or anything, and I've never heard anything like that. And his reaction is the best, because, you know, he's trying to rationalize what happens, and man, when you hear that, that's like one of the scariest audio things I think I've heard.
That is wicked.
So I just kind of came across that last night accidentally, and you know, next week's episode we're gonna play some EVPs that I've caught over the years. See what you guys think of that, but yeah, comment below and let us know, you know, what you think. what you think that
or
was.
if you have any kind of a link or a direction to anything else cool like that.
Yeah. If you have
We're-
any other
we're definitely
videos.
down, man. Definitely down.
But do you think it was snakes? I've never heard snakes. He said, "Is that snakes? Is that snake?"
Did you see the video? I know it's kind of old. I think it's been out for about 10, 12 years, but it's probably one of the most famous paranormal type of security camera in a hotel hallway, and the cops were going into this room. Nobody's checked into that room. Remember that? And
Yeah,
there were
yeah.
Screams coming from the room, and the cop goes in there.
And then
Like they're like, "Wait for backup! Wait for backup!" He's like, "Screw this!" And he goes in anyway, and like he's like, "Okay, all the furniture's been tossed, and everything's like."
And an apparition comes out.
You actually see like a just a faint, like a silhouette kind of come out and go down a hall, like float and go down a hallway. It's
Right.
crazy. That video's awesome.
And I'm pretty sure.
That video, I mean, that one, you know, when I first saw it, I kept waiting. I was like, well, I want to see the room, you know, but that's what makes it more of a real, you know, realistic feeling video is it you don't see the room, and you know you can tell it wasn't fake.
Well, I mean, this guy, he's got a lot of exploring minds, obviously. And that's why he's saying, I've never heard that in a mine before.
Well, I wonder if in the comments, if anybody's, you know, commented, yeah, man, I'm going to go check that mine out.
Oh, they lit it up. This video's got 3.6 million views.
Yeah, but I'm saying I wonder if there's links, you know, below or anything, because you know how the most popular comment or the most liked comment will be on top. Maybe somebody went in there and took some freaking EVPs. That would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Yeah, what does this guy say? 12:28 male voice yelling, "Get out, get out." I did hear "get out" as well.
Well, on your phone, all I heard was a bunch of.
This guy says, and then he goes on to say, 12:40, same male voice, "Get out," while another whispers, "You can't see me. I'm the shadow behind a shadow," echoes. That's all I could get for now. Does anybody else hear any other words? What else did you guys hear?
Stop using coal and use like renewable energy sources. That's what I heard.
This guy says, "Bruh, it's 2 a.m. I'm in Afghanistan trying to sleep. Probably shouldn't have watched this."
I'm only saying